Guerrero. I bring you greetings from the sacred space of Merritt College, Oakland, California, on behalf of my ancestors, specifically from my maternal line, the Velasquez, the Centino, the Thomases, from the paternal, the Martinez, the Hinios, to my elders, Joseph Palacio, Roy Caetano, Godsman Ellis, Simeon Sampson, my teacher in the room, Miss Lydia Flores. I seek your guidance as I present to you the objectives of the Garifuna Nation in short. But before I proceed, I want to thank you, Ronnie Daniels, Brother David Williams, Mrs. Deborah Darabul, Head of State of UWI Open Campus, to Mrs. Janelle Henry Rose, Secretary General of UNESCO, St. Vincent. A hearty greeting from the Garifuna Nation and its executive officers. And to my young sister, Colonel Zoila Ellis, who when we were younger, used to do a groundings on many projects in Belize. Sister Zoila Ellis, thanks for making this conference, the 8th, a reality. Now, I think many people would be asking, so what is the Garifuna Nation? I would start by saying it's non-sectarian, non-partisan. There are many in the Garifuna Nation, as I saw, I'm seeing for the past 2 years. We are not monolithic. We are very diverse. We might be constrained by distance, but not by languages. Some speak Spanish, some speak English, some Garifuna. So it is my duty on this small Starliner boat to challenge myself and maintain the line of the order of presentations today. We will start with James, and then we'll move on to Cynthia, and I think the others, I'll come towards the end. So over to you, James.
Yes, Egbert, I'm here. Hi, good evening.
So you got 5 minutes, then I'll wrap up.
Very good. Good evening to one and all. And it's a pleasure to be here with everyone. And I have found it so far. I've been finding it to be very fruitful. And I really enjoy hearing the different perspectives coming all within the context of the Garifuna. As the Garifuna Nation Lands Minister, we strive to secure our traditional lands, which recently Judge Abdullah Conte, Supreme Court Justice of Belize, had ruled in favor of the principle that collective land ownership is within the laws of Belize, which was extraordinary for us, because prior to that, the government had denied collective people their titles to their lands that they own collectively. And usually the indigenous people would be Garinagu and whatever other native peoples exist in Central America. It has been established that Garinagu are indigenous/tribal people who have special rights because they are distinct from the colonial powers that engulfed the territories in which they live. And they then became a part of one nation or the other, mostly due to colonialism. This is the reality today for us, from Urume to Central America. In Central America, we arrived after exile, where we lived a distinct life from the population that was there, which was a mixture of the European and the native people, as well as native people. We survived. We lived by the shores because many of us survived with through fishing and other uh, sustainable activities such as farming, and also our culture, our language we brought with us, which originated in Urume. Now, Cynthia spoke earlier about uh, about Garifunaduo, which is which includes, as the UNESCO proclamation says, the language, the music, and the dance. We cannot have these things if we do not have our own land, our autonomy. Because whenever we live among other people, we are forced through laws, through all kinds of forces coming at us, social, economic forces coming at us, we are forced to assimilate. And this assimilate, excuse me, this assimilation, I believe, is what's causing the rapid decline of Garifunaduo worldwide. If Garifunaduo is lost, it would be a loss to all humankind, as reflected by UNESCO's proclamation that we're a gift really to mankind. So Garifuna, wherever they are, even in Urume, where most of the culture and the language have been lost, they do have special rights under the ILO 169 to retrieve the culture, the language, the music, and the dance, and then begin to thrive once more. How unfortunate it is that Central America benefits greatly from a culture created in Urume. I find that unfair to our place of origin. Land will be and is the primary source for the perpetuation of this beautiful culture. Excuse me. This beautiful culture that was started in Urume. We, by our exile, by that exile, we made sure that Garifuna will live. Now, it's a shame that we are in exile and we will let it die. But we need our land in order for us to live. Everyone needs land to live. So, one thing we Garinago have in common is that we must fight. We must fight for our land together. It's something we must accomplish together. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for that short and very pointed um, summon or order that we have to fight for our land. We clearly have been listening to most of the presentations, and it's clear to me that what we inherited from the European model is of little used to our permanent, survival. So hence, we have to come up with it ourselves. And so when the previous president of this Garifuna Nation, Ruben Reyes, decided to proclaim that there will be a Garifuna Nation, I was a little bit, disconcerted, but I think it was in order. So for the 6 months that I've been trying to move, if I could share this, my screen, um, to activism via the use of cyberspace. Can you see my screen? Yes? Anybody? Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes.
Good. So, um, so I've been busy since August 2020. This is, I don't have the technical expertise here. Busy teaching, busy with activism. In November 2021, we had our first virtual conference where we explored the idea of the Garifuna Nation. And through deep thinking and discussion, we decided that the foundation of Garifunaduo is on the backbone of our women. The women are the backbone of Garifunaduo through the practices of the music, the dance, the teaching of the language, storytelling in the marketplace. In terms of health and wellness, we found that women are the backbone of Garifunaduo. And so therefore, we engage with this discussion further by visiting what we traditionally refer to as Uganda, not Hopkins, Uganda. But the colonial masters in Belize have us use the word Hopkins. And so, that dominant force has us referring to our traditional village as Hopkins, but we would want to have Uganda. The Garifuna Nation has embarked on a radio show in which we discuss issues affecting our communities. This is our voice, and this is our way of educating our people. So I'm challenged, yes, by being this at a distance. We are far away from home, but we have people on the ground who are doing some of this work. January 15th, we went virtually to CNBite to deep listen. I refer to it as deep listening in CNBite, along with our brothers from Jamaica, Canada, who are using some of our ideas to develop their Afrocentric Institute. But our finding in CNBite was a little disturbing in that we found that CNBite name as a village is not on the tourism maps of Belize, and in some instances we are told that CNBite apparently the name is off the map. So this is something we want to explore to transform our power from genocide to economic, psychological, and social power. These are some of the topics we explored. We invited our expertise, our own Garifuna experts, to share with us their tools in making specific economic assessments of our communities. And just recently, under the theme Tuluha Wadani, our time has come from intangible to tangible. We celebrated Women's Week in Barranco, doing again some deep listening. As we presented ourselves, we are told that there are some issues with, other indigenous groups in Barranco, and I pray that the colonial system is not setting us up against other indigenous groups. We continue to maintain contact with our brothers and sisters, Felicia, Andrews from St. Vincent, to make the point that we can promote activism, not solely physically, but we could do it virtually as we are doing here. The Garifuna Nation is present. These are some pictures, tell a million stories in Barranco with our Colonel, Cynthia Ellis, participating with the women in Barranco in a demonstration of baking cassava. We are presenting ourselves in CNBite, exploring a gardening project. We are in CNBite, Barranco, concerned about the conditions of the library, the health, the employment, and hopefully we'll be in Honduras very soon to have a discussion with our brothers and sisters as what is the issue in terms of the atrocities, the murdering of our women in Honduras, the economic dispossession. As far as I'm concerned, the genocide is in full swing. And our brother, Wellington Ramos, who is collaborating with UWI on a historical rendition. So I mention these things because, I'm more concerned about the activism part. I don't have a paper, but I do appreciate this conference in all its seriousness, in all its serious renditions as we move forward to re-establish, to reinforce the Garifuna Nation, whose life was disrupted by the greed, the capitalist enterprise of the colonial masters. I turn it over to you, and thanks for this permission.